In 1944, the situation for the Axis powers was dire, with Russian troops closing in from the east and Allied powers coming up from the south. As an act of precaution, and to free the French, the Allies wanted to open up another front. To open that third front, they would need a massive naval assault, the biggest one in history in fact. There had to be a lot of preparation, or this operation would fail miserably. Manipulation, deception, and communication were the keys to the success. But how could they hide where the attack would come from, and how would they hide such a massive army without being caught? These were the biggest problems, as the Axis powers were smart and had many spies implanted in the Allies' ranks. This meant communication would be the master key, as they would have to keep everything a secret and have it go smoothly as to not arouse suspicion. In order to reduce the number of casualties in the 156,000 soldiers being sent, in the Normandy beach invasion, the Allied forces would rely heavily on the use of deception and manipulation to trick the Germans. The group that would hatch such plans was known as the London Controlling Section, and they gave this individual project the codename of Bodyguard. One of the key points of this strategy would be convincing the Germans that the invasion would be directed along the most obvious and shortest path through the sea, from Dover to Pas-de-Calais. This way, the Germans would focus the majority of troops in the Atlantic Wall away from Normandy. Operation Fortitude was a smaller plan of Operation Bodyguard. This was devised to support the idea that it would intend to convince the Germans that the Normandy attack was only a decoy, so that they would hold off from taking forces from the Pas-de-Calais for as long as possible. An even larger part of Fortitude was to create an entire fake army, composed of dummy ships, fake radio signals, and the like. This resulted in a major success for the Allies, letting the real army invade Normandy Beach with much less casualties at risk. The ties to communication. Within the Allied invasion that was initiated on June 6, 1944, lies a great deal of communication between the soldiers, naval ships, and commanders, and generals alone. Communication was undoubtedly the key aspect of the Allies' operation, but possibly the greatest of all communication was actually the use of miscommunication. By utilizing false information and miscommunication, the Allies were able to deceive the German army and turn it into a major victory, in fact. Even with this miscommunication was more miscommunication, using the false radio signals and false information leaks. They took the Germans' need for communication and turned them against them, resulting in a huge success. An interview with Walter Rowe taught us how important communication was throughout the war, especially in Normandy. Through his incessant ramblings and old man talk, he got across the point about how important communication was, particularly with your own squad. He saw friends fall around him in battle, thanks to a lack of proper communication when it was needed most. Though there was a lot of good communication through the higher-ups, Walter told us himself he didn't really know what was going on. He may have been his young age, but he told us when he was invading Normandy, he really didn't know how, when, or what was going to happen. This shows the use of restraint with communication in order to avoid liabilities and accidental leakage of such important information. In conclusion, D-Day was D-Day, the first day of the invasion on Normandy Beach, and the Operation Fortitude, a deceptive plan involving said invasion, had a great amount to do with communication. This shows in many ways, such as inform, transfer, instruction, and other obvious uses, but in more creative ways, such as deception or manipulation through miscommunication. Thanks to communication, the Allies were able to successfully invade Normandy with much less casualties and death.